Beloved child of God, stop scrolling for a moment. This message did not find you by accident. It found you on assignment. There are seasons when God begins to deal with you quietly. No loud signs, no public announcements, just an inner stirring you cannot ignore. You feel different, more aware, less tolerant of what once felt normal. And you may not have words for it yet, but your spirit knows something is changing. Today's message is for those who have been feeling a shift they cannot explain. You still love people, but you no longer feel comfortable everywhere. You still care deeply, but certain conversations drain you now. You still believe in God, yet you sense He is asking you to move differently, speak less, observe more, and protect your peace. Beloved child of God, this is not confusion. This is preparation. Scripture says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" Isaiah 43:19. The reason this feels uncomfortable is because God rarely announces new seasons. He reveals them through awareness. Some of you have been wondering why old patterns no longer satisfy you, why familiar relationships feel heavy, why silence feels safer than explanation, why solitude now feels healing instead of lonely. It is because God is transitioning you. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into what God is doing next. And before God changes your surroundings, He first sharpens your discernment. He teaches you to listen inwardly. He trains you to recognize peace and absence of it. This message will open your eyes to what God has been showing you all along. It will help you understand why you feel pulled inward, why boundaries feel necessary, and why your spirit is craving stillness more than noise. Scripture reminds us, "The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in Him." Psalm 37:23. God is ordering your steps, even when you don't see the full path yet. Beloved child of God, if you have felt this quiet inner shift, if you've been sensing that God is separating you for clarity, not isolation, if you've been feeling called to protect your heart more carefully, then this message is for you. Stay with me. Listen closely. Let the Spirit speak. And before we go any further, comment yes, not for visibility, but as a declaration that you are open, aware, and willing to follow where God is leading. He is not removing you from life. He is positioning you for alignment. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The shift you feel is not random. It is God-initiated. Beloved child of God, what you have been sensing lately is not imagination, mood, or exhaustion. It is a divine shift taking place within you. God often begins His work quietly, not with noise, but with awareness. Before He changes your environment, He changes you. There are moments when familiar places feel uncomfortable, conversations feel shallow, and routines feel empty. You may still be doing the same things, yet something inside you no longer agrees. This is not rebellion, it is realignment. Scripture says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Romans 12:2. Transformation does not happen overnight. It begins with discomfort. When God renews your mind, old patterns stop fitting. Many people panic during this phase. They assume something is wrong because they no longer feel at home where they once belonged. But God often disturbs your comfort to awaken your calling. You may notice that your tolerance has changed. You can no longer entertain gossip. You grow tired of surface-level interactions. You crave depth, truth, and peace. This is not judgment, it is maturity. Beloved child of God, God does not elevate what He has not first refined. He separates before He positions. Even Jesus experienced this. Scripture tells us, Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. Luke 4:1. The wilderness was not punishment. It was preparation. During seasons of inner shift, God draws you inward. He teaches you discernment. He quiets distractions so you can hear Him clearly. You may feel alone, but you are not abandoned. People around you may not understand your changes. They may say you are distant or different, but what they are really witnessing is obedience unfolding. Scripture assures us, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delights in His way. Psalm 37:23. God is ordering your steps even when the path feels unfamiliar. This chapter is your confirmation. You are not losing your way. You are being redirected. The unease you feel is not resistance. It is alignment taking root. Do not rush this process. Do not force old doors to stay open. Do not apologize for honoring what God is doing inside you. If this chapter reflects what you've been experiencing, comment, yes. This is not the end of something. It is the beginning of clarity. Chapter 2. Why God is creating distance before direction. Beloved child of God, one of the clearest signs that God is preparing you for a new level is this. He begins to create distance before He gives direction. He does not always explain first. He separates first. You may have noticed that your desire for constant interaction is fading. You still love people, but you no longer feel the need to be everywhere, explain everything, or remain emotionally available at all times. This is not coldness. This is God reclaiming your focus. Scripture tells us, the Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. Isaiah 58:11. Guidance often begins with withdrawal. Before God strengthens you outwardly, He steadies you inwardly. Distance is uncomfortable because it removes familiar noise. It exposes what you leaned on that was never meant to support you. But God uses distance to detox your spirit from dependence on people and reconnect you fully to Him. Jesus Himself practiced this. Despite the demands of the crowds, Scripture says, but Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Luke 5:16. He understood that power flows from intimacy with the Father, not from constant access to people. Beloved child of God, when God begins to limit your emotional availability, He is not shrinking your world. He is protecting your assignment. Some people drain you not because they are evil, but because they are not meant to walk into your next season. You may feel misunderstood during this phase. Others may interpret your boundaries as rejection. But obedience to God will often look like distance to those who benefited from your constant presence. Scripture warns us, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15:33. This does not mean everyone around you is bad. It means not everyone is beneficial. Distance sharpens discernment. It teaches you to listen instead of react. It reveals who respects your boundaries and who resists them. And most importantly, it re-anchors your identity in God, not in people's expectations. Beloved child of God, do not rush to close the distance God has created. Do not fill the silence with unnecessary explanations. What God is forming in you requires space. If this chapter resonates with your experience, comment YES. Distance is not loss, it is divine positioning. Chapter 3. Why certain people no longer fit your spirit. Beloved child of God, one of the most uncomfortable realities of spiritual growth is realizing that certain connections no longer feel right, even when nothing wrong has happened. You still love them. You still care. You still pray for them. And yet, your spirit no longer feels settled in their presence. This is not betrayal. This is discernment maturing. As God works within you, He changes your spiritual sensitivity. He refines your inner posture. Your frequency shifts. What once felt familiar may now feel heavy. What once energized you may now drain you. This shift is not about superiority. It is about alignment. Scripture asks a powerful question. Can two walk together unless they are agreed? Amos 3:3. Agreement is not just shared memories, loyalty, or affection. It is spiritual compatibility. When agreement fades, tension quietly replaces peace. Beloved child of God, some people were meant to walk with you for a season, not a lifetime. God uses relationships to shape you, stretch you, and refine you. But He does not require every connection to continue forever. Seasons change because assignments change. You may begin to notice subtle signs. Conversations feel repetitive. The depth you crave is missing. Your spirit feels restrained or muted around certain people. This does not mean they are bad. It means your direction is shifting. Even Jesus experienced this. He loved all, but He did not give equal access to everyone. He discerned wisely. Scripture tells us, from that time, many of His disciples turned back and no longer followed Him. John 6:66. Growth always creates separation. Not everyone is willing or able to go where God is leading you. Beloved child of God, do not force closeness where peace no longer lives. God often removes friction by adjusting proximity. When He is preparing you for something new, He lightens your load. This is why you feel drawn to simplicity. Fewer explanations, deeper conversations, quiet understanding. God is refining your circle to match the calling He is shaping within you. Scripture assures us, the Lord knows the way of the righteous. Psalm 1:6. He knows who can walk with you and who cannot. Do not fear this change. Do not cling to familiarity out of guilt. Trust that God is intentional with every connection in your life. If this chapter reflects what you've been feeling, comment yes. This is not loss, it is alignment. Chapter 4. Why God allows distance before destiny. Beloved child of God, distance is often misunderstood. We assume it means loss, rejection, or failure. But in the hands of God, distance is not punishment. It is preparation. Before God brings clarity, He often brings quiet. Before expansion, He allows separation. And before destiny unfolds, He creates space for transformation. Scripture reminds us, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Stillness is not emptiness. It is where God recalibrates your heart, realigns your priorities, and strengthens your discernment. There are seasons when God intentionally reduces your circle. Fewer voices, fewer opinions, fewer distractions, not because you are being isolated, but because you are being refined. Noise can drown out direction. Distance restores sensitivity. Beloved child of God, God often removes access to what once felt safe so that you learn to rely on Him more deeply. Familiarity can become a substitute for faith. When God is elevating you, He teaches you to walk without leaning on old supports. This is why some relationships fade quietly instead of ending dramatically. God is gentle. He does not always tear things away. Sometimes He simply allows them to drift as your spirit grows stronger. Jesus Himself withdrew often. Scripture says, but Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Luke 5:16. Distance was not avoidance, it was alignment. Even the Son of God needed separation to remain obedient to purpose. You may feel misunderstood in this season, less available, more guarded, more inward. This is not hardness, it is wisdom forming. God is teaching you when to speak, when to listen, and when to remain silent. Beloved child of God, do not rush to fill the space God created. Do not numb it with distractions or return to what He has already outgrown in you. Sit with Him there. Let Him shape you there. Scripture promises, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord." Psalm 37:23. Even the steps backward, even the pauses, even the quiet moments are part of His design. Distance does not mean delay. It means direction is being clarified. If this chapter resonates with your current season, comment, "I trust God." Chapter 5. How to embrace spiritual seasons without resistance. Beloved child of God, spiritual growth is not a straight path. It moves in seasons, some vibrant, some quiet, some seemingly empty. Each season has a purpose, even when it is uncomfortable or confusing. God never wastes a season. Even the ones that feel slow, isolating, or challenging are shaping you for what is ahead. Scripture reminds us, "For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven." Ecclesiastes 3:1. To embrace your season without resistance, begin with awareness. Notice where your spirit feels tension and where it feels peace. Growth often manifests as subtle unease, a gentle tug away from old habits, old environments, or old expectations. This is not punishment, it is refinement. Beloved child of God, the resistance you feel is often fear, dressed as discomfort. Fear whispers, "I will lose what I have," or "I will never belong again." But God calls you to a higher trust. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Isaiah 41:10. Fear fades when faith rises. Next, surrender the need for control. Seasons are not meant to be rushed. They are not always linear. Sometimes the pruning feels sharp, the waiting feels long, and the silence feels deafening. But these are precisely the moments God forms endurance, patience, and clarity in your spirit. Beloved child of God, reflect on the life of Joseph. He was forgotten in a pit, misjudged in prison, and overlooked by those around him. Yet every season was purposeful. Scripture says, "And the Lord was with Joseph, and he became a successful man." Genesis 39:2. God's presence does not remove difficulty, but it transforms it into alignment with destiny. Another key to embracing seasons is gratitude. Even in solitude or loss, find the lessons hidden within. Ask God, "What are you teaching me? What fruit are you growing in me?" Gratitude shifts your eyes from what you have lost to what is being prepared. Beloved child of God, remember that seasons are temporary, but your spiritual growth is eternal. What feels like separation is often preparation. What feels like waiting is often refining. What feels like ending is often the first step toward new beginnings. Scripture assures us, "The Lord will perfect that which concerns me." Psalm 138, verse 8. Every pause, every shift, every quiet moment is purposeful. Trust the process. Walk in awareness. Stay surrendered. If this chapter reflects what you've been experiencing, comment, "Season of God." Beloved child of God, as we close this chapter of reflection, take a moment to breathe and receive the truth. Your spiritual journey is guided. Every connection, every season, every pause, every challenge has been divinely orchestrated. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing is random. God is intentional with every detail of your life. Today, you have been reminded that growth changes everything, including your relationships, your surroundings, and even the way you see yourself. Some people will drift away, some situations will dissolve, and some seasons will quietly end. This is not rejection. This is refinement. This is God clearing the path so that you may walk unencumbered into your calling. Beloved, hear this clearly. Your peace is not negotiable. If a connection, habit, or circumstance disturbs your peace repeatedly, it is time to surrender it to God. Scripture says, casting all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. You are invited to release fear, guilt, and obligation, and to trust that God is positioning you exactly where you need to be. As you move forward, declare this truth over your life. I am aligned with God's purpose. I walk in peace and spiritual discernment. I release what no longer serves my growth. I embrace every season as divinely appointed. I trust that every connection in my life is intentional, and every separation is a step toward my destiny. Repeat this declaration daily. Speak it aloud. Write it down. Let it root in your spirit. Your words carry authority when spoken with faith. Beloved child of God, remember that spiritual growth is not measured by speed or by visible results. It is measured by obedience, by faithfulness, and by the depth of your relationship with the Lord. Even when life feels uncertain, even when relationships fade, your spiritual compass remains true if you stay connected to Him. Reflect on the journey you've taken through these chapters. You have learned discernment, embraced change, welcomed distance, and surrendered to God's timing. Let these lessons settle in your heart. They are seeds that will bear fruit in seasons to come. Finally, remember the words of Scripture. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. Your journey is sacred. Your path is ordained. Your growth is intentional. Walk boldly, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. If this message resonates with your spirit, comment, I am aligned. Let it be a testimony of trust and faith. Beloved, this is not the end. It is a new beginning. Step into your next season with confidence, peace, and unwavering faith.